welcome to Ion Gainesville. I'm Catiel Felts. Over the next year, Ion Gainesville will introduce you to some extraordinary people, the people who really do make Gainesville a special place to live, people who have opened their lives to others. In this edition of Ion Gainesville, we're going to meet the coordinator of Gainesville Area Citizen Advocacy, as well as 2 citizen advocates and the young man who changed their lives. But first, the latest news in our city. Registration is underway for the 9th session of the Citizens Government Academy, which begins Tuesday, March 17th. The class is designed to give residents a better understanding of city government. The 10-week course will run from 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesdays with graduation scheduled for May 19th. There will be no class during spring break. Register online at Gainesville.org or by calling 770-531-6598. Construction is underway on our new 4-story parking deck for the Georgia Mountain Center. The 419-space deck will greatly improve parking in the downtown area. Optum Construction Group is handling the project, which is expected to take about 6 months. The spotlight was on Enoda Elementary School in early January. Principal Susan Culbreth welcomed a movie crew from California representing Edutopia. Edutopia is the George Lucas Educational Foundation. It consists of a monthly magazine and website focusing on what works in education.
Several weeks ago, we got a phone call from the George Lucas Foundation, and they had been researching multiple intelligences schools across the country. Enoda is one of the very few public schools that teaches children from that platform. So that we started out with phone interviews, and then they came to see us. They were here for 3 days. It's really a wonderful showcase for our school, but more importantly, our students and our staff got to really show what they do. And we teach children in a very different way here than has been my experience. And the students were videotaped. Teachers that had been here when the Multiple Intelligences Academy began were allowed to really talk about how it started and how much they believe in that way of teaching. So we're very fortunate they came to see us, and we're excited that in the April-May issue, we'll have an article in Edutopia, their magazine, and also a small documentary. Every year our PTA sponsors our Multiple Intelligences Fair, and our MI Fair is open to the public. We have mostly our Enoda students, but we also have parents bring in students that are considering coming to Enoda, and it kind of gives them a good bird's eye view of what we offer here at Enoda. And we incorporate the 7 multiple intelligences into activities. It may be a performance in the lunchroom where a student is music smart and wants to perform a keyboard composition they've done. It can be in the classrooms. We may have an art smart project where we do fair hair. It goes really from some very standards-based activities to a lot of fun activities.
The school also hosted their Multiple Intelligence Fair, which is an annual event with activities throughout the building highlighting each of the intelligences at the school. Students also contributed projects they completed that highlighted their particular area of interest. There's a business in downtown Gainesville on Washington Street. The sign above the door says Gainesville Area Citizen Advocacy. If you're like me, you've probably wondered for years what took place inside that office. I actually had the opportunity to find out when I sat down with the coordinator, Missy Scordino. Missy, welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much for having me, Catiel.
Explain to us, if you would, what is Gainesville Area Citizen Advocacy?
We are a nonprofit organization. We've been in Hall County now since 1980. And basically, we are an organization that recruits citizen advocates for people with developmental disabilities.
How do you find the people who need advocates?
I go out into nursing homes, sometimes personal care homes, just try to be conscious of where I'm at and who I'm meeting, who I read about, possibly in the paper. And sometimes it's referrals.
And what are you looking for when you go out into these different facilities?
Generally someone who is alone, someone who may be at risk of abuse or neglect, sometimes just someone who is living in an institution because they have a developmental disability.
And what about an age range on this person? Does that matter?
All ages. All ages. Developmental disabilities occur prior to the age of 22, But, you know, certainly people are in their 70s and 80s and have developmental disabilities.
And what happens when you go out? I mean, is it easy to go in and find someone like that, or?
Well,
or
it's just like you just have to be aware. I go out and I might ask the social worker at a nursing home, do you have someone who is living here who may have a developmental disability, perhaps someone who doesn't have any family connections or anyone who ever, you know, comes to see them. Another way might be I might meet someone who is going down the street in a neighborhood and it looks like they're struggling using a wheelchair. I mean, there's all different ways. So I don't think it's really hard. It's just that I have to be aware.
You know, it's the one thing that comes to my mind is working for the city. When I'm out driving around, I see all kinds of things that I know the city would be paying attention to. Mm-hmm. You're looking in a whole different arena, I guess. You're looking for people, yes. And you're paying attention to the people that many people don't pay attention to.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, so you find your person, and and later in this show we're going to meet one of those people, but you find your person who needs some type of help, who needs an advocate. Let's talk about actually finding the advocates.
Okay.
Where do you find them?
That's in all different walks of life. The one walk that we do not recruit advocates from is when a person is already connected in the service world. By that I mean like someone who their work might be they're a special ed teacher, or someone who is a person who works at a nursing home. So we look for advocates of just typical people living good lives, people with compassion and backbone. We have citizen advocates who are waitresses, servers in restaurants, and we have had citizen advocates who are airline pilots and attorneys and all different walks. And their roles are different too. Some advocates are asked to go ahead and represent the interest of someone maybe at a school IEP meeting, which is an educational meeting. And then other advocates are asked to be at the bedside of someone who maybe doesn't use words and they may be dying and they need someone there